What's up? Oh, I need some adjusting here.
Let's go. How you
What
doing, my
up?
brother?
Good, you?
Good. I love your shirt, bro. It looks very
Okay.
nice.
I,
That's
I
what's up.
decided to step up a little bit in my daily work outfit, but it's still representing the Dedeyan's colors.
Bro, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. But brother, how you been, man? It's been a
Good.
minute.
How are you doing?
I am blessed, man. Even better now that we're gonna have this great conversation together.
Dude,
I'm
congrats
super.
on it. It's doing great. I love it. I see it all over the place and
Thank
stoked
you,
for you,
bro.
man.
Thank you. Honestly, yeah, definitely working hard with the team to just, honestly, like a bit like, I would just want to give great content on personal development, entrepreneurship, and peak performance. And entrepreneurship, bro, I mean, who else other than you? And we're taking a little step back. We're getting excited here, Anthony. For people who don't know Anthony, he is, he's lagging out, but essentially, I'll still announce him. All right, you're good? So yeah,
Yeah.
Anthony works at Dick Ann's. This is a family joint, a hamburger joint. If you're from the greater region of Montreal, you guys know what it is. It is one of the like, staples when it comes to fast food and all of that stuff. And he's been really bringing it to the next level. So we're going to jump into some entrepreneurial tendencies, understandings, how to work with family within this business, and so on and so forth. So, Anthony, my brother, and there's a bunch of people saying hi. Please
What's
ask
up?
questions, comments.
Hi.
Some people from Armenia, what up? So, Anthony, let me start off with how's everything going with since COVID in the fast food world? Are you like on the Door Dashes, the Uber Eats? Is that okay? How did you guys live with that when it happened?
So we're very fortunate in the fact that our business was built on takeout. In the original location, there was only 12 stools available for our customers.
Hello, Anthony.
We were always built for takeout. So when this hit, besides the fact that the dining rooms were closed and there was a lot less people on the road, it was business as usual for us.
Wow.
So that was for us like I guess our like our happy side of the whole story is that it didn't really take much changes on our end. Minor adjustments, all the safety protocols and whatever was like the big thing, obviously. But other than that, I mean, business as usual. Dropping in foot traffic. We had to deal with. You saw the big push for all the Uber Eats and the Door Dashes and all the third party delivery systems were all offering left, right, and center whatever they could to try to get the restaurants on board. No fees for the first 3 months. So that was our only like scramble where we've never done delivery before, and it had some slight adjustment to say how are we going to make sure that the customers that go out of their way to walk in the stores are still getting that service that they're used to, while adding this new venue of having drivers just come in and pick up the orders. So that was like the biggest challenge, let's say.
Okay, there's a couple things you just touched on over there, and I really want to kind of talk about it because I actually don't know, and I'm guessing some of the people that are watching don't know this. So first of all, the fact that your business was already generated a big part in essentially sales, not necessarily sitting down, but takeout, so it didn't affect you guys as much. But what is the order when it comes to fast food, and maybe more particularly, obviously, you guys in Decans, that when somebody puts an order and somebody walks into the store, imagine I put in an order before somebody that walks in the store, is the
Yeah.
person in the store going to get always the first like aspect one? How do you guys like put it in order of importance,
I
especially now
mean,
with the DoorDash?
we always prioritize the customers that come through the door first. They're there, they go out of their way, they have somewhere to go. So we want to make sure that their day isn't interrupted with because of this third party system that we've implemented. So we just saw it as people that are ordering from home, they already know that it's in the hands of the driver and there's delays. They're not rushed to get their order. We try to do it as smooth as possible, so that when the driver comes, he doesn't have to wait because obviously, chain reaction of delays for everyone. But again, just the way our system was built from the start, it was as smooth as butter.
Let's
Very
go.
rarely did the drivers have to wait. All the customers that came in, no one got annoyed that like there was all of a sudden like the guy that skipped the line to grab an order to go because their order was ready in the timely manner that they've been used to when dealing with us.
That's great.
So
And Anthony, I have another question within this
yes,
because,
sir. Ask me everything.
bro, I got you, fam. I got you. And this is like I said, I'm just getting excited here with like the questions like entrepreneur side of things. You guys are, let's call it a mom and shop place when it
Yeah.
comes to a fast food burger joint, and you guys are competing against multinational powerhouses. Let's not name them, but you know which ones
Yeah.
we're talking about, a bunch of them. How do you stay competitive? Why do you think you guys are still very much alive within the industry in the greater region? And you guys have like almost of a cult following. Can I call it a cult following? Because as I
Yeah,
was researching it, I was getting really surprised. I'm like, yo, it's like
yeah,
people live and die by decades.
yeah.
Why do you think and how do you think you guys have developed that?
Oh man, that goes down to the hustle of my grandparents when they started. Just making sure every customer that came in the door, they were greeted like it's just been it's ingrained. Just like DNA is passed from one generation to the other. I think him coming from nothing on the first day of business, having just 12 burgers and 12 hot dogs to start his day off, to see if this concept even worked, and have to build every single customer that came through the door was just like ingrained in us from day one. So it's been that I think has helped the cult following that is our customers. As people want to start calling themselves now the Dickanners or the Hands. Yeah. So
Nice, they give themselves
honestly
the names.
it's thanks to my grandmother and my grandfather that really did all like the heavy lifting for that. And then my parents' generation brought up in terms of like the speed and that we're known for now. And now it's just about continuing those two legacies and bringing it to a new generation of people.
That is beautiful, Anthony. And I'm just reading some of the comments. They're like, yo, and they're answering my question. They're like, by having best food, like the best food, by being
It's
consistent quality over 50 plus years, which
yeah.
is all a part of it. And it's 100% true. And that being said, have you guys ever had any opportunity? And obviously, you could answer this the way you want. I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there any like opportunity to somebody trying to buy it off, like a bigger
Yeah.
company trying to walk in?
Yeah, we've had people come to the table, and it's the type of thing. It's you're at a size that like it needs to be like a justifiable price for someone, a big company like that, to buy you. Because in reality, we only have 12 locations. But
Only.
yeah, well, when you compare to the big guys, like you're saying, yeah, it
Yeah.
is a lot. 12 locations for anyone to get to that is a lot. Compared to the big people that are getting bought out, it's very tiny. And you know, we love what we do, and to just give it up for whatever people are offering on the table, it's not worth it. We just have so much more involved with all our franchisees who are all been with us. They're old waitresses and waiters that have grown from like that position to owning their own business.
Wow.
So we know how a lot of these big companies, not going to name names, when they come buy out companies like us, there's a lot of changes that happen. Then they look at bottom line. They say, you're making too much money here. We're going to take that. You're making too much money there. We're going to take from there. And we've just never felt to leave our franchisees in that position. So until the day that we can no longer operate ourselves, I don't see selling out. I just don't see it as an option.
I love that. I love that. And I love the fact that you just mentioned a lot of people that buy the franchisees are people that are through the family of Decans,
Yeah,
essentially. When I mean family, I mean, like you just said, like a worker, a waitress, or whatever, and kind of
yeah.
growing up into it. So it really keeps that love for the brand in itself. And talking about brand, like, what do you think, like, is the number one thing, or what do you guys try to convey within the brand of Decans? If there's like a couple of words that you could kind of qualify when you think of Decans, or you want people to think of Decans.
I think it's always really been family. Even if it's not like a family sit down restaurant, it's been that forever. When my grandfather first started, when he opened, he was 7 days a week, and he said, "This is too much. Us and our employees, we need family time." So from there, that's how we got the Monday and Tuesday where we closed. They were the two slowest days of the week. Monday, Tuesday was family time. We have our cooks and our waitresses who've been working with us for years and years and years. And that dedication, they became like family. They ended up getting their own restaurant. Again, family theme. If you look at everyone that's been introduced to Dickens, we asked actually last week, because it was 67 years that we've been around, you know, who introduced you? And it was always my parents, my dad, my mom, my dad. And so when you see that, I guess you have to say it goes back to family. That's really everything that we are, and that we trying to convey going forward is a family feel.
I love that. I love that answer, and it makes perfect sense. And I think it's going to correlate very nicely to my next question, which is, how is it to work with family? Because we all have family, and we have our moments of like, yo, like kind of,
It's
we rub shoulders. But like when
yeah.
it comes to business, how does that happen? And I'm kind of asking in a selfish way because I'm growing my business and I'm actually hiring some relatives, some family members, which I love. But where's that balance essentially? What does that aspect like you look like on your end?
You know what? Fortunately, it's been really good. Usually, there's more friction between like the younger generation and the parents. That's
Hmm.
where my cousin and I have had that like the biggest battles to fight because we see one way of like, you know, we understand they're set in their ways of things have been done right up until now to bring us to this point, but there are adjustments to be made. And that's usually where the biggest friction happen. I'm very, very, very fortunate that I have an amazing relationship with my cousin, who's my partner in this. We have yet to fight in the 10 years we're working together.
That's good.
You get lucky. I hear a lot of horror stories with family when they're together. It's always like one has their ideas, the other has their ideas, and you're like, okay, it's a family business. Who has the final say? It's about picking your partners, and you know, based on relationships you have with people, if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. But it's definitely not smooth sailing all the time.
I love that. I love that. So essentially, you mentioned a couple of things. First and foremost, pick your partners properly. So family or not, you know the relationship. You have to kind of qualify that. And second thing, be aware and be respectful for the different generational, not gaps, but understandings, different approaches. And talking about that difference, like you said, like maybe in your time with your parents, like, hey, this worked and it's beautiful. But within a business, if you want to succeed, you have to evolve and you have to look at the next steps. And how has that looked with Dedeyan? Because I know that you guys are going into food truck, into some beef jerkies. Talk to me about that. Like, what's the next evolution for Dedeyan, and how did you approach that? And how was your parents' understanding, the older generation being like, hey, I want to do this, do that? How was that relationship like?
Yeah. So pretty much in 2019, we had this crazy idea where the family does a lot of recipes with the sauce at home. Like we do like roast beef sandwiches and stuff that would just never be able to be on our menu just because of how operational wise we want to keep things simple. We want to keep a small menu. So we're talking, I said, how do you introduce these awesome items that go really good with our sauce that we're known for to our customers without complicating everything? And we said, well, one day maybe we'll sell this sauce. We'll sell our sauce. It was like, oh my God, really, really, really? So last year, we were signing to start opening up some more stores. That idea got on the back burner. COVID hit, and we were like, okay, what do we do? Just like everyone at the beginning, you're like, what's going on? Is this the end of the world? Are we going to have customers come in? Are people going to go out and eat? How's the food safety? Anyways, as the situation evolved and there was more of an understanding of the situation, we brought back the idea. We said, okay, what can we do to kind of have a backup plan? And the idea came out again about selling the sauce and saying, okay, let's people are going to be eating more at home. They're cooking at home right now. How do we get that taste that they're used to in their house, on their shelves? One thing led to another. We said, let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's take a sample, sell it in stores, see how it goes, and see it evolve from there. And it's just been like a huge success. And I think right now with the way real estate is and growing, we had to look at how do we reach all of Quebec that's been asking us to open up restaurants without making the big investments required to open up a brick and mortar store. And I think this is a really big way to see where our markets lie because we have such a particular product in the sauce. I really think going this route is gonna help us hone in on the markets that we can attack at a later date. So that's kind of been our vision of where it's going with the retail products.
I love that. So two things. The retail, first of all, is going to offer to grow your clientele. You're going to put, like you're just helping the demand because there's demand for it. And not only that, like you said, you're honing in to see that, hey, where is the actual place that's going to buy this product the most? And then potentially I could go and invest in a brick and mortar store, brick and mortar restaurant there, and so on and so forth. So that's an interesting approach. And do you ever think, now I don't know where like obviously numbers lie, but do you ever think that that might actually blow up more than the restaurant brick and mortar? Is that the goal, or this is really to support it? You're smiling, so I'm guessing there's something coming up.
Honestly, I have no idea. We've been just trusting the process up until now. Opportunities have been presenting themselves to us over the past year, and it was kind of a thing where we have nothing to lose right now. We have to look at every opportunity that is given to us. Let's explore it to its fullest, cover all our bases, and see where it leads. And this was one of those avenues, and the feedback on it has been beyond what we could imagine. So is it going to be bigger? It's definitely a lot easier to reach a bigger audience quicker than our current process. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of faith with what we have planned that it's going to be really big. And the thinking behind it is, I think it's going to help support what our base is. So our restaurants are the base, and this is just going to help bring more brand awareness to our restaurants that have had the legacy they've had up until now. So that's kind of the way we're looking at it.
Awesome. Awesome. Here's another question. I want to throw you a little curveball over here. Being in your family, growing up with this amazing brand, your grandparents building this great restaurant and just taking off the way it took off, did you feel like a bit like almost forced to go into the business? Was it like, no, I wanted to? Was there a moment that you rebelled, like, okay, I don't want to do anything? Because this business legit could have been your first ever job as a teenager, and you could grow into it like you're doing now. Like, how was that aspect like? What did you feel with that relationship?
It's funny you're reading my mind.
Nice.
So,
I'm doing
good,
something good. We're on the same level.
So honestly, I didn't know. In high school, I grew up in the business. So 3 days out of the hospital when my mom had me, I was in the office in the restaurant. I grew up like in the summertime helping out, bussing tables, and I was always like, oh, it's there, it's cool, it's like a backup option. And then it was right after college. I was like, you know what? I've appreciated what the business has given me all my life, and I sort of on one side felt the obligation to be the next, because I knew there was no one else in the family interested in it, to be the next generation to take it forward. And it was a hard decision at first. I'm like, is this really what I want to do? Back and forth. So a couple of years just grinding it out, and then I started to get a little bit more say in where we were going to go, what we were going to do. You start opening up your first few franchises, things work out well, and then kind of the love just grew from there. But I can say, with everything that's happened, never in the history of me being in the business have I loved the business more than the past year. Despite all the bad that's come out of the past year, there's a lot of good mentally for me, and appreciation that I've had that I've never felt before. And I'm going to thank like the past year to that, because it's something I would have never gone through had it not happened. It was a business we were lucky enough to have our doors open at the beginning when they closed down all the industries, and you realize that people always need to eat. So being in the food business, I wouldn't change it for a thing going forward.
I love it. I love it. Just by the way you explained it, I definitely heard your love and growth towards how it's developed, like Decans in your eyes. And do you think there is a part to play with that? Because like you said, the last year and all that, do you think it's because you're growing and you're taking more the role of, I could call it CEO, I don't know if that's the actual thing, but taking a more role of like a decision maker within the company is challenging you more, so you're actually liking it even more? Do you think that like has a role to play within it?
I think part of seeing your vision come to life has a big part of that. Before, it was still kind of following the rules and saying you can do this, you can't do that. But definitely once you start making your own decisions and you see that they're successful and you see that that was the right call, that definitely plays like a role in the love for it. But it's a whole thing of you see how hard the past two generations worked to build up a reputation. And when you have people coming through your doors during the worst of times, and you can pay your bills because of those loyal customers, it was just something that, unless you experience that, you'll never understand it, on how important that is, that relationship with your customers, that relationship of being a business owner with a customer, a fan. It was really something crazy to go through.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And if we bring it back to a question more like entrepreneurial side, obviously having, like you said, 12 restaurants at this point, sometimes franchise, sometimes not, whatever the case is, you have a lot of employees, you've seen a lot of employees. What is your best advice as a business owner that you could give to be a better business owner with employees? How do you hire? How do you speak to them? What's your best advice over the years that you've learned with dealing with employees, subordinates, colleagues, call them whatever you want to call them?
There's so many levels to that. There's one, treating your employees with respect. There's giving them the proper tools whenever they need. There's treating them fairly. You have to build a culture, and you hear so many people talking about like a culture in a company, and I think we've done that because a lot of times we've had employees with us, they leave because they think they're gonna find a better paying job, a funner job somewhere else, and they always come back because they're like, you know what, we had it good here, we were treated well, we're paid well, it was just, it's fun to come into work, and you have to constantly think about that. You have to put yourself in the shoes. Not, I'm the boss, I make the rules, you do what I say. You know, you pick up the slack. They see you clean the floor. They see you, you know, shifting in for their shifts that they miss. And I think that's something that going forward is always going to be part of the culture here, and putting your employees first. Because when this happened, you know, you were left with, do your employees want to come work for you? They could have took the PCU, took the money, stayed home. But we were so lucky to have the employees care so much about their work that they wanted to stay. Even at the beginning, like I said, when there was no all the unknown of how dangerous is this thing, they wanted to stay at work and help you out. So I think that speaks volumes in terms of how to build a business.
That is amazing, Anthony. Let me just like highlight a couple of things, because I think you just dropped a lot of gems there. First and foremost, I think the main thing was empathy. Have empathy towards your colleagues, have empathy to their whatever's going on, be respectful. And the second thing that came up is don't tell but show. So like you said, if there's somebody that's missing a shift, you're the one that's doing it. Hey, show that you're picking up the slack. You're the one that's cleaning the floor, or whatever the case is. Show by example. So I think those two big things creates the third thing, which is your company's culture, which is extremely valuable and important. And Anthony, I want to be respectful for your time here, but I have to ask this last question on this, and you kind of guide me towards it. How come your hamburger is smashed? Like, I want to talk about, for the foodies, I don't consider myself a foodie. I like eating food, and I see my sister's here, and I know she's a foodie. Why did you guys decide to smash it? Yeah, he's like, hey, what's up, Steph? Why did you guys decide to smash it? Is that like a thing? Like, how did that aspect happen? Because for me, when I see that, I find that weird, but it's completely your unique selling proposition in itself.
Pretty much when our grandparents had the idea of what they wanted their burger business to be like, they lean towards the fast food. And so fast food, how do you make everything go out faster? And part of the idea was the thinner patty. So thinner patty cooks faster on the griddle. That differentiated them from all the other burger joints that were around, that were, you know, it was like 5-10 minute wait for your burger. My grandparents were like, no, we want people in and out. We want them to get a quick meal at an affordable price, and we just want the turnover. We're going to do it on volume. And then, so to complement that, we had to make our breads flat. And so a lot of people wonder, like, oh, are they pancakes? Are they crepes? Are they special breads? No, they're actually regular breads. They're like big, thick breads, and we just put them down on the toaster to complement the patty. And it was all a question of speed. So that's efficiency. Really the story behind it. Efficiency.
I love that. I love that. And now my question to that is, how come there isn't anybody else that does it? Because you guys patented it, or what's that situation like? Because if it is faster,
we did have some custom work to like the machinery that's used to make meat patties, and it's just not something that a lot of businesses want to like invest in to do that. So there was that kind of like differentiator that set us apart, where other companies were just doing standard stuff. You have a lot of people that want the homemade feel, so they'll just take like a ball of meat and hand squish it. Mm-hmm. It's just no one saw that niche. It was really there's been people over the years that have tried to copy it, imitate it, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
they don't have the sauce.
They don't have the sauce. So the whole thing is in the sauce. Is that what it is? Is it like
it's a combination.
SpongeBob, the secret, and all that stuff. The patty.
No, it's a little bit of everything. It's the culture you build around your business. It's the relationships you have. It's the part of it is that sauce. It's a unique sauce that if you either like it, you don't. But your third time, if we can convince you to have it 3 times, that third time you're addicted, and you can't have anything but the sauce. So it's a whole bunch of uniqueness of our product mixed with the history of how we treat our customers. Yeah.
Okay, a couple of things I have to just highlight real quick.
Keep asking.
Yeah, I just want to highlight one thing. You can have the best product in the world, but if you don't deliver it in the best way possible, you're just not going to succeed on it. Yeah. And vice versa, you could have a product that's mediocre, but if the delivery, the approach is in a high level, your clientele is going to make it be even better. So I think over here, you just have a mix of everything positive, and you guys have been doing it for such a high level for so long. So brother, man, I mean, it's like almost 1 p.m. I don't know about you, probably not as much as you, but we've been talking about burger for the last 30 minutes. Yeah, I am salivating. I want to have a decant. It's been a minute.
You come by. You're not far.
I'm definitely going to pass by. I'm definitely going to pass by very soon. Anthony, let me just say thank you very much, brother, for your time. Thank you for everything for you guys. are doing. And yeah, bro, one last
Keep up the
question.
good
What
work.
can I do?
Yeah.
One last question, bro. What can I do to support you better, bro? What can I do to support Dedeyan's better? What can I do on my end?
Nothing, honestly. Like, we just love everything. This is huge. This is so fun to do stuff like this. Enjoy these conversations whenever you want. We'll shoot the stuff. That's about it, man. Just
Awesome, my brother.
just seeing you succeed. That's how you can help me.
I appreciate that. And can you just tell our viewers where your store is situated? One in Laval, Montreal, where you at, where you can get your products, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So all our retail products are available at all our 12 locations. I'm always at the one in Chamonix, Laval.
Okay.
That's kind of our head office now. But we have Saint Jerome, Terrebonne, Repentigny, Longueuil, Anjou. So we have a couple in the East End. And then yeah, and soon some big announcements coming the next month. Big, huge.
Let me know the announcements, and if you do it on social, please, I'll reshare it so my community could see it as well.
Super.
Awesome, my brother. So have a great
Thanks,
day.
Chris.
Thank you very much. We'll speak very soon. All right.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.